You are on the Third Party Podcast, episode 10, with our best guy, Tasheed Carr.
Tasheed Carr here, Born Leader Family, the leader, checking in with Third Party Podcast.
Looking for a certain woman on the podcast, trying to make it last and forever, trying to get a blast, yeah. This is how I do.
I need you to be
Why
still.
do you need me to be still? Do you feel uncomfortable with the fact that I'm just talking and shaking all the time? Why don't you like energy?
I do like energy.
Why don't you have a heart? That's the real question. Why don't you have a heart? Yo, assalamu alaikum. Greetings to the people. Peace and blessings. Grand rising. This is the Third Party Podcast, episode 10. I'm here, Muhsin Kasen, a.k.a. the Muslim Boxer, a.k.a. Mr. NyQuil, a.k.a. the youngest person on the podcast, a.k.a. beautiful black man. And I'm here with my man, Rod DeVoe.
Yo, Rod DeVoe, man. Third Party Podcast, episode 10, man. Got a great guest today, man.
Who we got today, son?
We got my main man, Tasheed Carr from Born Leader Family, man.
That's a dope name right there. Tasheed Carr.
It's a baller name.
That's a baller name.
It's a baller name, man. Welcome to the show, Sheed.
Thank you for having me, man. I see you guys been doing some great work, man, so I'm delighted to be here.
Yes, sir.
Tasheed Carr, founder of BLF, Born Leader Family, a brand geared towards helping youth grow to prominent leaders in their communities through sports and education. Tasheed is a leader, mentor, philanthropist, a basketball and skill development trainer. Grew up in West Philly and Southwest. He attended my alma mater, University City High School. Then he transferred to the infamous Mount Zion Academy in Durham, North Carolina. Graduated as the valedictorian. Also, after that, he attended Iowa State University on a full basketball scholarship. We played 2 years, then transferred to the home team, St. Joe's University in Philly. He graduated with a BA in psychology. After graduating, he played several years professionally, including in Germany, Spain, Israel, China, and the NBA Development League. After a career of playing professionally, he started basketball training career, helping former NBA All-Star point guards get back to prominence. After spending 2 years as a trainer, he came back to Philly, hit the ground running full steam with basketball training and mentoring, serving over 8,000 kids in the area.
That's crazy. The whole time you was talking, he was just like this, like.
He wiping it off his shoulder.
That's what I do. You know, something slight. So what part of Philly you from?
I'm from West Philly, man, but that's actually what I do, man.
Born and raised?
Born and raised West Philly, man.
In the playground?
In the playground, in the neighborhood, in the masjids, man. That's what I do, man.
That's what it is.
Me and Sheed, man, we've been rocking for a minute, man.
Since the 60s, huh?
We've been rocking for a minute, man. He was an instrumental part of a project that we had. City Athletics, man. So this is my guy, day one, man. He laid it down for the kids. He's committed to it, man. And getting him on here, it's really been too long since we've been together, for real. So I had to bring him on. You a hooper, man. That's what you're known as. Mm-hmm. What did playing ball mean to you growing up?
Playing ball to me growing up meant just getting out of my current environment, being getting out the house, getting away from what was going on, just kind of like a safe haven. So that's what it started as, just having fun, just hood stuff, you know what I'm saying, kind of being okay with it and just continue to do it. But it really was kind of more used for a safe haven to get away from, what I was going through at home or, maybe in the neighborhoods and stuff like that.
So you want to talk a little bit about what that was like, though? Like the things that you had to deal with, like what you was growing up with.
When I was growing up, man, just I be thinking it's typical, but, my mom was on crack, in and out the streets and all that. My dad wasn't never there, so my grandma raised me. I could kind of do whatever I wanted. So I just think it's the typical thing, kind of growing up where we're from for most people. Obviously, I think of it as typical, but it shouldn't be thought about like that. I just was kind of on my own. My grandma did a great job of raising me, but she also gave me a lot of freedom, so I could have went any way I wanted.
It's so crazy how we normalize that, right?
I know.
I was just about to say that. Why is that so okay?
When you see more people going through this than not,
right.
When you grow up and then you think it's more of the norm than anything.
Why is it an accomplishment just to go to college for us?
is so far and few in between, man.
Man,
I don't even. I would say the bar is a lot lower than that sometimes. Like graduating high school, like not going to jail.
Yeah,
like stuff like that, man.
Right.
Like it's funny. I was reading something and it was about extreme poverty, right? And I'm reading and I'm like, wait. Like that's like that's me. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's talking about, you know what I mean? And a lot of times like you and I have talked about this shit, how we normalize it in a way where it's like you don't even think it's a big deal when you make accomplishments, or like, you see what I'm saying? Like it's like everybody got that story. Right. So one of the things I like is that when you connect with people and let them know that story, because like it resonate with so many people, man. So,
yeah, man. I try to hang my head on being transparent, man. I think, law has put me in a position, to be looked at by so many kids as like a real role model. At first, I didn't even really understand it. I'm like, I was just doing me. But I try to be transparent, man, because so many kids is going through the same thing.
I think that's where leaders really come from.
I like to think of my life as divine, because like every step of the way, like I don't be planning any of this stuff, and I be ending up in some like, spectacular situations, man. So I like to think of as, kind of divine things, man. I was just playing basketball, man. I went to a regular tournament in North Carolina, and the coach was there to come see the guys I was playing against. And, the rest was history, man. I killed them dudes so bad.
You was breaking ankles?
Yeah, something like that. I was cooking them bad.
Who would you say? You was cooking them?
Bad.
It was like...
So like, just imagine like, a trainer come to watch, you fight the dude that you're fighting.
Cooking him.
And he cooking you though. And now he get the heavyweight title. He get the heavyweight chance. So that's kind of how it was.
You just walked in there on the humbug.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just was, regular day, just doing me, regular tournament. I just wanted to win. You know what I mean? And he wound up seeing me, asking who I was.
Did your family play basketball?
You know what? No, man. They didn't. I have nobody in my family really that I know of that was like actually a basketball player.
When did you know, like when it was like, dag, I'm good? Like what was that moment?
When his grandmother said it. What you think?
No, my grandma had no idea. My grandma was just
That's usually the best supporter.
It was different back then a little bit, man, because my grandma, she didn't even go to my games. She supported me though. Right. Like, she brought me some things. She encouraged me to do good things, but
right.
My grandma might have been to a game or two in her entire life. So, when I knew I was good is when I started getting college entrance. I didn't play basketball like they go to college, but when I started getting the interest from college, I mean, I'm like, I might be pretty good. But then a lot of the older people used to tell me and used to say it because like I was always a lot younger than my competition. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I ever thought I was that good, to be honest, when I look back at it. Right. I mean, I could play a little bit, but like I still think that I was kind of like not that good when I look back at it.
Humble.
So what was some of the names? Like I seen you post some stuff about like the team that you was on. Like what's some of the players that you got to like compete against during that time?
Oh man, so I played with 15 Division I players the 2 years I was at Mount Zion. Like we had 11 on one team. We was number one in the country. We was like 58-2 one year. I mean, we played against the whole country, man. Oak Hill. I got a chance to beat Rajan Rondo and play against him in high school. We kind of became friends then, which, led to like a whole thing later on. But honestly, man, anybody around my age bracket, man, I played against everybody, man.
Rajan Rondo, man. You two have a relationship that from afar people could see. Why don't you give us a better perspective of the relationship you had with Rajan?
Oh yeah, man. So my boy number 9, man. Over the years he was doing this thing, I was doing my thing, man. He wound up kind of starting his career with the Celtics and all that kind of stuff. I played a few years overseas, and then a few years later, a person who was his fiance, soon to be wife, is a female who I grew up with. They met each other like on randomly, and the first name they said was like when she said she was from Philly. Right. He said, I got a homie from Philly, and he said me, and she like, what? That's like my family because that's a person I grew up with. We kind of connected back then. It was like almost around and then maybe a year or two later, he was going through a real tough time in the NBA. Kind of got hurt. Was going through some personal things. Him and one of his best friends, Josh Smith, they pretty much like, we had a talk, I decided he asked me, can I come just help him out? I worked out with him a couple of times. asked me, can I help him out, man? I never trained at that point. I was kind of just still thinking about whether I wanted to play or not. Just went into the whole training thing. I spent about a month with them down in Louisville, Kentucky. And then he asked me, can I move out Sacramento with him, man? It's a, life-changing experience.
That's dope.
Was out there, man. We really, if anybody know anything, man, he started shooting his best percentages then. And he really regained prominence, man, in the league, man. And I got to know a lot of people, got to meet a lot of people, gain a lot of respect through that journey. And it was just a good thing, man. Good experience. Learned a lot from it. Things to do, things not to do, how to handle things. But overall, it was just really a good, humbling experience. It really did a great deal of preparing me really for like my next chapter in life, like my purpose. I think the main thing I got from Rondo was one, visibility, really getting out there, and kind of, meeting some people. But two, Rondo is probably like how Jay-Z is like to the rappers. Rondo is probably like that to the basketball players. So
what you mean?
Just like how they revering for like, how good he is as far as like his knowledge and the wisdom. So like he may be one of the smartest players that to ever live, especially in this era.
Right.
So a lot of guys, you'll be surprised at people who look up to him, for advice for basketball. So I think getting to sit down with him, I mean, I watch more film with that dude than I watch TV there in my life.
Wow.
So getting to sit down with him and kind of learning the intricacies of the game, and we kind of had a lot of discussions, and it definitely took my basketball acumen and knowledge and focus and discipline to a whole nother level. And I just think like I think that it really helped me for like what I'm doing, and what I will be doing for Ahmad. Right. Just kind of understanding that level, really understanding what it takes to get there. But another thing he taught me about is how important it is to take care of your body.
Right.
Like we always know, but I think from there I really went like in, like I kind of really changed my mindset. So I can set the precedence for these young kids.
So what kind of things did you implement though? Like you say, take care of your body.
Eating.
Yeah.
So I think taking care of your body always start with the food the intake, the food that you put inside your body. Sleeping. He slept. He actually got his rest. So he slept. Obviously my man as a boxer know how important sleeping is. But it's hard to understand as a young kid, a young player, a young boxer, a young athlete, how sleeping affects you. How sleeping really, really, really adds to your game. And just like what he do,
sleep,
man, like
he really
he really did what he needed to do for his body. Like so recovery, things of that nature. I mean, some of the things I probably don't use because I'm not a higher level athlete now, but like now I really understand how to, implement them to my young kids and, really just kind of set the precedence through like how I treat my body. I'm always a brother who just try to maintain good relationships because you just never know when it's gonna come back around.
Never.
So yeah, we're pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So you got an opportunity when you was training him to like, I thought this was dope that they came out to like a regular Southwest Philly rec center, like coach it, like talk about. Like,
oh yeah, man. I think that was the best shit that Philly ever seen.
Right.
Excuse my language, but a lot of people don't understand how big that was. But I was very elated, man. That still makes me proud that I was like truly able to orchestrate that on my own.
Who were the players that came out?
Oh man, Southwest stand up, man. We had Rondo, Karan Butler, Rudy Gay, DeMarcus Cousins, Nancy Lieberman, Seth Curry. The guys was in the building, man, and they spent time, man. Yo, shout out to all those guys, man. Wow. Seriously.
Wow.
That was like, I don't even think a person in the NBA can make that happen.
Right.
To be honest, like, because they never did.
Right.
So I don't even think a person in the NBA can get 8 to 10 of his superstar teammates that come to this neighborhood and spend 2-3 hours with these kids with dope. Absolutely no incentives. You know what I mean? So like, and Rondo was a big instrumental in that. Man, I mean, once he gave it a go, like, yo, this is what we doing. It's my man. It's all good. Shout out to my boys D-line. They ensured that the security was tight. And it was wonderful, man. So it was, it's something that I look back, I post about, I think about as a very proud moment. But is I hope that it'll be like one of the first of like many, because that's the kind of stuff that I want to do.
Right.
I want to continue to build relationships. To bring these young to bring these young athletes and, you know, things like of that nature, you know, to kind of make an impact on these kids. I mean, it's kids that's 20-something years old that's, you know, always come up to me and still talk about that day.
Right. Wow. Nah, man, it's a testament to the relationship that y'all built. Like I see you out there on the court. I see you training, man. Like you come from Philly. It's a certain type of baller. Like describe that.
Well, me per se, I mean, I was always, you know, a tough kid, you know, just a dog, considered a dog and stuff. Like I'm always going to play hard. You know what I'm saying? You know, where we from, you know, you got to protect what's yours. So that's first and foremost. And I would say, like, my game, to be honest, is exactly who I am as a person today.
Right.
You know what I mean? A leader, giving. You know, I'm always willing to, you know, give before I take. I'm always willing to give more than I take. And I'm always willing to sacrifice for the team. So, you know, who I was as a player is exactly who I am as a man. You know, with the kids I mentor and with my kids at home and with the people in my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's many people that really get to know me and call me a selfish person or won't understand that my soul and my passion is like for these kids. So I just think, you know, my personality from, you know, basketball and life is one and the same.
What made you choose your major? Your major is psychology.
Well, I didn't choose nothing at first.
I ain't choose the game.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could choose something.
What?
But they chose it for me because I guess, like, you know, me talking and me like how I was and stuff, like they like, this would be good for you. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, you know, going that way, just more thinking, more how things work. I'm always curious to how things work and all that kind of stuff. So I think that was like a curiosity of mine and stuff like that. And I think like just adults kind of seen it. And I, like, you know, before I kind of knew it, they was like pushing me towards it.
Were you good academically?
I was pretty, well, in high school I was great. Then in college, I was okay, but honestly, I regret it. I wish I would have put a more of a foot forward because I was really capable of it. But just like the laziness of college and like how easy it was being a ball player, like really kind of helped me kind of just fall back. And I regret that.
So do ball players get privilege in college?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know,
Bro, all athletes get privilege. What you mean?
I mean, but rightfully so though.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be a big debate about like, yo, they shouldn't be privileged. Well, you know, the regular students aren't bringing millions of dollars to the university neither.
Facts.
Right.
So like, I think they should probably be privileged. And I mean, that's just life though.
Yeah.
So like, I hate when people kind of get that talk, yo, these privileged. Well, the person that's bringing the money in probably got a little more privilege than the people that's not. So
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
I mean, I think our culture, society reward, you know what I mean, athletes and people like that's great at things they can do. You know what I mean? Like we kind of reward that in general, you know. I know that there's a couple things you're extremely proud of, and you talk about like this feeling. You played in the NCAA tournament. Like just talk about the emotion like behind that.
Well, I've been blessed to play in it twice.
Okay.
So you know, I try to relate to the kids, man. It's one of the most beautiful things, man, in basketball, especially in college, man. Just like it's a great atmosphere, man. I mean, you know, you're getting police escorts, you're getting the best food, you're getting palms shake your hands with hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars in it. You know, the people are just the people are just like going crazy about you, man. And then just the atmosphere, like actually playing the games. It's just wonderful, man. Like I encourage all young kids, you know, just to continue to work hard to try to get to that point, man. And cherish it too. You know, be a little more conscious in the moment. See, when I was playing basketball, I wasn't really conscious in that moment. I just was kind of going through it. I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have any guidance. So I was just like happy to be there. So I just, you know, I encourage kids, you know, if y'all are able to be blessed enough to get to those moments, not only cherish it, but be conscious in those moments as well.
For people who don't know, you Muslim, right?
Yes.
So at some point in your life, you decide to become a Muslim, take Shahada, right? You weren't born Muslim.
No.
All right. How do you get there? How do you get to that point?
A lot of my family, like, well, my uncle, not even a lot of my family, just my one uncle, which, you know, he was Muslim, and like all my friends and stuff was Muslim. So I was always around the Muslims. Even I used to be around the masjid before I was Muslim with my uncle a lot. And, you know, that was just my favorite brothers. And those was the brothers who I looked at as like real strong men. And then the other people, like, I didn't look at like that. So like, I always knew I was a real strong man. I wanted to be amongst the men. So I think that's what drew me. Right. And then learning more for myself about, you know, what, why, how, and all that, you know, kind of, you know, sealed the deal for me.
So how was the process?
Well, just Christianity. I was like going to church and stuff. Like when I was a younger kid, I was just always like seeking and asking questions. Like I said, I was always a guy that just did things on my own time. I don't allow people like because a lot of my friends just be like, yo, take your Shahada, yo, when you take your Shahada. And I think that probably made me, shy away from me more than anything. And then I don't know, man, just one day, man, I just did it. I just called my uncle one day like, yo, I'm ready. I'm out the blue. So, how I go, man. Probably law just placed that thing on my heart, man. I just went ahead and did it.
Like we talk about this, man, how just Philly is just such like a Muslim place. Are you in college? Are you out of college when you take Shahada? Like, are you still playing basketball?
Oh yeah. So when I took Shahada, it's crazy, man. It was when I transferred to St. Joe's. So that fall, I never forget. It was like early on that fall, maybe September, October, because like Ramadan was my first Ramadan was during a preseason. So it was like the toughest thing I ever did in my life. Like I never fasted. So I went from just, whatever to being Muslim in September. And then I think like October, it was like the first Ramadan. So, and I did that thing, man. I did all third. I did it all the way through. You know what I mean? Like I worked out. The coaches thought I was crazy, man. But, Allah really allowed me to get through that thing.
That joint make you so tough mentally.
It does.
When you don't break from fasting and working out, and you come back to regular society, you be like, oh,
no, real, man.
I am invincible. Yo, you really feel like that, man.
It gives you a sense of discipline too, man.
Absolutely.
I feel like my son, he fasts and play. I feel like he played some of his best games ever. Like fasting during Ramadan. Like just like the way the efficiency he was playing with was just like ridiculous because you're not really wasting your energy and stuff like that.
And
man.
I think it's probably a direct, obviously, there's a direct correlation between the fasting and then the mind. You know what I mean?
It's just detox.
Yeah, that detox of the mind.
That detox
really
of the
real.
mind. It really helps you focus on whatever you got to do.
And the spiritual high you want to.
Oh man,
performance, man.
And then on top of that, like you really asking Allah to give you this energy that your body really don't got.
After that, you played in a couple different countries, right? What's your favorite country that you played in?
My favorites that I played, my favorite that I played in was China.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, because I made a lot of money.
Did they think you was Charlie Murphy?
No, but they thought it was something like that because, man, the way they take to you was unbelievable, man.
Dude, they be trying to take pictures with you
it
and
was crazy.
Everything.
It was crazy. And I didn't know how diverse China was. Yo, you get to Shanghai and all that, man. You start to meet a lot of people that look just like us in Shanghai. A lot of African people in Shanghai. Okay. So I think China was my favorite country to play in.
So talk about Born Leader Family.
Born Leader Family, man. So I got it tatted on my wrist, man. It was just who I was. Like when I tatted Born Leader, it was like literally just like as a young kid, just believing I was born to lead. Like I didn't think about, a brand. I didn't think about any of that. I didn't think about, being a guy who was giving my life to young kids or anything. I just was thinking about being a leader and just getting some ink. And, it just stuck with me, man. As I kind of grew with it, man, I just really always took on a mantra of being the leader. And, a lot of people always deemed me that and, looked at me as kind of the guy in the front, and then it's like I always just kind of took on that. So I just think it's like with everything, man. Who you really are. If you really wanted to, if you really like kind of do the right things, take the right steps, it'll always come out. So just eventually, man, I just started talking about what I really wanted to do in life. Like I knew that basketball wasn't who I was. I just knew it was what I did. So now I was trying to figure out who exactly was Tasheed Carr. What did I want to do? What was my purpose in life? Then it brought me to this, man, like Born Leader Family.
So you had a moment, and I know about this, where you got into a little bit of trouble.
Yes.
Well, tell us about that and how that impacted, like you changing and deciding what you want to do as a man.
Oh man, it was a great point in my life, man. I look at it as like one of the greatest points of my life because it really turned the chapter in the book of like what who I was going to be next. Being a typical guy from where we're from, coming up on a good variety of marijuana, and just started indulging and selling marijuana. I caught a pretty substantial case with it. I was so blessed in the case because just being who I was, just kind of just knowing the people I know, it just so happened that, you know, everybody that was involved with it was like people who was like for me.
Right.
And I wound up getting into like this first step program, and I came away with no record. I came away, you know, being like a philanthropist for like their program. I'm still instrumental in what they do now. You know, it really changed my life because like I know that felony would have probably changed, you know, a lot for me. Not everything. I'm not a guy who believed that a person with a felony, it could change everything. But I know in the lane I'm in, it would have changed a lot. From that point, man, just kind of like, yo, I ain't doing no bull crap no more, man. I'm really gonna be on it, man. Like I'm gonna be who I say I am at all times, man. And I just knew I didn't want to go to jail,
Right?
Because that was like more like a federal type of case if they would have went through. So like I just knew I didn't want to go to jail, man. And like when I look back at it, man, I'm just so glad it happened, though, man. Alhamdulillah, man, because it really turned the tides of my who I am and what I became. And just like my way of thinking, being more mature, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
It's always this point where you can go one way or the other, right? Because like you said, like you get a felony, you know, I mean, I'm you know, obviously you're gonna work hard and try to overcome that. You know, those be the differences where, you know, somebody else get that felony and then something else happened and something else happened, you know what I mean? So it's just, for me,
spiral effect.
Yeah, like when you hear people's stories, there's always like these definitive moments where it's like, I'm gonna make this decision and go this way, or I'm gonna make another decision and go that way. So
absolutely,
you know, it's just, to me, it's interesting to always hear that from people, man.
I just think Allah, that I just was born, you know, with a good soul and a purpose. I just give all praise to Allah, give all praise to the Creator for that, because I know that's a blessing, and I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up understanding these things. I didn't grow up understanding these things. I didn't grow up, you know, understanding consciousness, understanding energy. No one ever talked to me about this stuff. I didn't know nothing about it, man, but I always exuded great energy. I always was a happy person. You know, I always understood that happiness was internal.
You know, that's illegal in rides, but you can't be a happy person. You can just walk around like why is life like, why is life?
True.
Why is
He know me, bro. He know better.
That's not true.
He
But
know
no,
me,
like
bro.
I just always really understood that happiness was really internal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like nothing really ever bothered me. So I think it's probably a personality thing mixed
That's
with
me.
just, like, you know what I mean? I always been a happy person, man. Like I always been secure with myself and stuff
Right.
like that. So, you know what I mean? And, you know, kind of being consciously understanding now that a lot of people lack so much energy. So I try to be really a vessel for those people, you know? I don't let them take mines, but I try to give them mines, give them some of mine. I don't let them take away, but I try to give them, because I believe that, you know, as much energy as you give, you would never lose it. Like it's just like an abundance of kind of recharge back in. So I just try to be that light for people who's in the dark.
Yeah, that's one of the things, like if anybody ever come out to one of your training sessions with the kids, lack of energy is never going to be something that they don't say. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get to work with kids all the time, man. And so from your perspective, you know, and obviously it's kids of like all different backgrounds and all different, you know, belief systems and stuff like that. You know, I remember he was like, they don't, yo, you was coaching the team for me, and he was like, they don't have to call me coach. I'm like, man, what kind of foolishness is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like he was
military guy right here?
he like,
Call
yo,
me sir.
He was like, you was like, I don't want them to call me coach. I'm like, you know, but they respect you still the same. So my question is like what do you see when you really kind of sitting back looking at our youth, you know, obviously in Philly with problems and stuff like that?
You know, I think first and foremost, I see me. I see who I was, and really looking back what I needed. So I try to be who I needed and what I needed to the young kids. So like that's funny, man, because I like kids call me my first name and all that, because I don't feel like that's real respect. Like I know like any, you know, the real respect is giving respect and like demanding respect. So I always got that, you know, tighten with the kids, you know, like they don't never cross that line with me, but I just think it's a mutual thing. And I think it's an energy thing. You know, kids know who is who and what is what. That's my favorite saying. So when I see the kids, man, I just see like, you know, they just need some hope. Like, you know, a little bit of hope can go a long way. So I just try to provide that for them, you know what I mean? Because I know, man, like there's not gonna be a lot of guys who can persevere through life without that kind of guidance, without that kind of help. And most people don't. So I just try to provide that, man. And when I see these kids, man, I see like, you know, me as a beacon of hope to them, and I just try to give them my all. I know I can't help everybody. I know I can't save everybody, but I do feel like I can impact everybody that come in my path in some kind of way.
How does that impact you though? Like when something happens to a kid or a kid get locked up or you know what I mean? Like a kid, I know, kids have even been murdered. Like how does that impact you?
It impacts me. It impacts me pretty hard, but not in a negative way, man. Like to be honest, man, like the Creator knows best. And I just know, like, I feel good giving everybody my all. Like, I feel like everybody who has ever came in my path, I've given them everything I've gotten. I've given them everything I've got. So, like, I just feel good always knowing that, like, no matter what, you know what I mean? I can't be the end all be all for everybody. Right. It's really hard because knowing that a lot of those kids aren't those kind of kids for real. They just kind of a moment, they get caught up and it's like, yo, I could have been that same kind of kid because like what I think about the most is I was doing way worse shit than them.
Right.
So like it kind of take me by like, wow. You know what I mean? So it's tough, but man, Allah knows best.
Right. So right now, what you have going on, you have Born Leader Family, and you training one of the top kids in the country. Talk about y'all relationship.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my boy Ahmad, man. You've seen it from, pretty much the beginning, man. I've, always told you about it and stuff, but it was just one of those things, man. He hasn't been the first kid of that nature that I've kind of like poured into that way. When he came through, it was just kind of very special. Like I just kind of knew from the beginning, man, that this was meant to be, being as though the circumstances was right. When I first, met him and stuff like that, he was a pretty good basketball player. Like I looked at him like, yo, he can be pretty good if he get to work and all that kind of stuff. But I never thought it was going to, go this far. It's just a blessing, man. His mom, she really did a great job of, allow me to really step in and kind of like put my mark on him with no interruptions. I think that's the biggest part of it. And then honestly, man, I met a wonderful kid.
Right.
So like, yes, I've poured into him and helped him be a better person, and his character is amazing. And he's probably, wiser and more intelligent than he probably would have been without a guy like myself. But he was super amazing. Like his character was already intact. He was already a real focused kid. He wasn't like a bad-spirited kid and stuff like that. So it was just perfect, man. I just thank God that it kind of, went the way it went, man. And, hopefully I can continue to do what I'm doing for him. And he can be the first of, many that I can get to that level. But it's a very special thing. It's very, very unlikely that it'll be the same thing with anybody else at this point in my life. But, it's very special, man. I'm just very proud of, our work together. And, he'll be attending the University of Connecticut next year. He'll have a chance to, shine bright, man. So I'm very proud of that, man. I'm very happy and thankful, man, for, just kind of our relationship, man. I mean, for me, man, I call him my son. He called me his dad. And for, 7-8 years, I've treated him nothing but just like that on and off the court.
How does that feel? In those moments where, like you said, it was something that you didn't have, and now you are putting all this energy into this kid.
It's very fulfilling, but it's more like a fulfillment of the soul. And no, it can never come from me. It's always from the Creator. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, he put something in me, man, but I just give really always give all praise to Allah for things of all natures, you know what I'm saying? And being the kind of brother I am, man. But, man, it's very fulfilling for the soul. You know what I mean? Knowing that I can make those kind of impacts in a life. And then I'm kind of brother, man, I just, as long as it can, help grow my soul, like I won, man. Like that's what's rich to me. So like I made $1 million, doing this already because, it's already in my soul. Like I can get an abundance of money, but like I'm already a rich man, like, so.
You're already rich.
Yeah. So it's just fulfillment, man. Like it gives me more purpose in life. It gives me more energy to continue to do it. Knowing that, like, not only that I'm capable of doing it, but knowing that, like, this is a part of what Allah put me here to do.
You got broke people, and then you have people who have broke mentalities. And there's a big difference because they just not in the situation that they need to be in, but they gonna work to get there.
And when I say I've made $1 million, I was just like hypothetically speaking, like as far as my soul and how rich I am.
Listen.
We completely understand that part.
I'll be honest. You never cared about money. You know what I mean? And You know, so that's admirable. What advice would you give to parents? Like what advice would you give to a parent?
That's a good one. I talk about this all the time, but I think the advice I would give to parents is, if you went into a hospital and they told you your kid's heart was bad, you wouldn't get a dentist to fix his heart. I think parents need to be wiser and take their emotions out of things and get the right people to guide the ship. I think oftentimes parents, out of ignorance, like not knowing, think that it's easier than what it is, and they find out the hard way that it's not. You know, like it's an element to this that's you have to have an expertise. You have to kind of know what you're doing. So I think my biggest advice to parents would be like, get the right people to guide the kids. And I guess it's like a wisdom in getting the right people to guide your kids. So it's hard. Honestly, Rajan, it's truly hard because, you know, parents are just trying to do the best thing for their children. So like they are picking things that they think that is the best most of the time. And there's a lot of fool's gold out here, man. So, you know, you got to really like do your diligence. You got to really like get with a wise person and trust them and, you know, really, you know, get people to help you make decisions.
People that's going to tell you the truth.
Well, transparency, the truth.
Absolutely.
But it's hard, man, because a lot of people just don't want the truth. Yeah. So a lot of people don't live off of that. So it's like, it's really a tough task.
What you mean? My kid not making it to the league? What? You know what I mean? Like
that's exactly what they're saying. What? My kid gonna make it.
In every other, I think in every other realm of anything, people got like a representative, agent, this or that. I think it should be the same thing, you know, for the sports because it's like it's big business now. Right. I mean, I think you know parents see dollar signs. I mean, you can make millions, hundreds of thousands, and millions just in college now. Right. But from my experience, I think that you know people try to keep it to themselves, and I will always say like, yo, 10-20% of a lot is really good. 100% of nothing is like absolutely bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think like people got to have a better mindset of not being selfish, one, and just allowing, you know, having patience and allowing people to come in and, you know, do what they need to do to help you. You know what I mean? It's tough, man.
So, all right, that's the advice to the parents. What would be the advice to the coaches?
Okay, coaches. When you guys, you know, do this, you know, everybody do it for certain reasons, but I just feel like you just got to be all in. You know, I just think that's it. Like, I can't speak to like the levels of coaching and stuff like that because everybody's different. And I think if you're doing it for the right reasons and a right, in a good purpose, then it's all good. But like, really stick to it. You know, like, you know, coaching kids is not, is a privilege for real. Coaching kids is a service. It's an honor. Right. It really isn't for the person. It really isn't for the coach. Right. It's not for the man. So it's not for the woman. It's really an honor to, you know, be in a position to coach young kids and make an impact on them. So I think like coaches, man, just be sincere and just give it your all. And, you know, make an impact on kids outside of the sports. That's very important because like we know that most kids won't make it professionally or won't make it to a point where they'll make money in sports. But sports can be so many life lessons throughout life and can take you so many places. Like, for instance, myself, you know, I didn't make it to the NBA. I made a few dollars overseas, didn't have a long stint. But, man, I've met so many people from so many places, man, that I actually really built relationships with. Like, so me going in the rooms and smiling all the time and having good energy and talking, it has paid dividends for me, you know, later on in life, man, and it's all coming full circle.
Do you think you go to college if you're not playing, if you don't play basketball?
I think that for me, it may have been a possibility because I was really good in school. I actually liked school. Okay. So like, you know, nobody forced me to do school. Like I could stay home most of the time if I wanted, but I really, you know, decided to do it myself. So it would have been a possibility, but who knows, man? Like more than likely not though. Because like I probably would have been doing what my friends was doing, and like all my friends from back then is dead or in jail or probably in the way. I ain't did nothing illegal since I don't even be trying to walk across the street without, you know, in the middle of
it. No jaywalking for real.
Real rap.
That's real.
Yo, man,
it definitely teaches you.
I want to. We appreciate you coming to share your story, man.
Absolutely. Talk
about what's going on. You know what I mean? You definitely a big energy guy. I mean, I've witnessed the selflessness, man, and I feel like, you know, the basketball world and the kids in general, the basketball are not, they're better because you do what you do, man. I like it don't even be kids that like they got 2 left feet and they come around and they love being around you and stuff, man. Mm-hmm. So I just really, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, brother.
All right, so we got to give him his flowers too, because he be doing it on the low.
Oh yeah, no, he deserves a lot of flowers, man. Like,
on the low,
I'll talk about, man.
I'm one of them.
Make sure at the end you
man.
ask me about, the opportunity that he presented for us, man. It was like one of the biggest things. I know we're not done yet, but these last 4 years, man, courtesy, with a big help from my brother, man, has been wonderful. I have been able to make my mark and my impact on the city, and you are very much a big reason for that. Helping out with the city athletics thing, man, giving me a space at a super, super duper affordable rate. Understanding what I really do, really, because guys, you talk about me being selfless and not caring about money, man. That was one of those things where, man, you really knew what I did, and man, you enabled me to really like do it, man, and I appreciate it, man, because if you wasn't how you was, then I wouldn't be able to make the impact on the community because I would have to do business. Yeah. You allowed me not to be able to do business with my community, and I appreciate that.
Black man.
You know what I mean?
No, you know what, for real, man. I'm. This is gonna sound crazy. I'm disappointed with myself because I couldn't do more for you. Like real, like I'm like disappointed, like because I know what you do. I know how important it is, man, and I don't want you to do business. You see what I'm saying?
No,
like so anyway, man.
It was all love. Like, I'm just saying, man.
We're gonna cut it out.
He's a very humble brother.
He is.
But man, you got a soul of gold, man.
Man, and he do a lot, man. Listen, man.
Sure.
I was at one point very recently. It was like a few decisions have been made in my life that I was just like, man, like, where am I going to go? What route am I going to go? And this man really helped me get focused and get on the right path in order to still get to the same goal. Because at one point I was just like, all right, I'm eventually get to that goal. But now he put guardrails, couple bumpers on that joint. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple pit stops where I can go refuel. I appreciate you for that.
Hey, listen, man. So we gonna lighten this up, man. We got some questions for you. We gonna, Black History Month, right? Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite Black movie?
My favorite Black movie, man. Wow, maybe
Loving Basketball.
The Tuskegee movie. Or probably Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Yeah, probably Malcolm X, man.
No, that's a classic. Movie. That's a good one, man.
Okay. Well, what's your what would you say your favorite, I guess, historical Black figure is?
Oh man. Whew, that's kind of like crazy to think about. I would say the guy from the Black Panthers, the young guy,
Hampton.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah,
I would say Fred Hampton because he was a young, strong brother, man.
He was.
When I do my history on him and I think about like how young he was and the impact that he made and how 22, 21, 22 years old doing that stuff.
That joint was
he
crazy.
Died at 22.
I thought
23.
he was like, so I watched the documentary. I read a couple of things on. I was like, this dude gotta be like 40.
Yes.
I literally said, I was like, this dude gotta be like 40. 22 years old.
So like when I look
leading
at the leader,
revolution, that joint was crazy.
That's strong. He was like a strong brother, man.
His voice was iconic. The way he talked, like the way he could like really.
Yep.
That joint was crazy.
When you, it's funny, man, because when I assess things and it's like you look at. Like them dudes was young, man. Like
they were.
Like Malcolm X was young, Martin Luther King. Like I'm older than them dudes, and I'm like
Pac and Biggie. They were young.
But you know what though? You when you look at it though, man, you see why, because like what they was getting at at the young age. So like they're sitting in the house and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hearing some things, and sitting at the tables and they're being prepared.
Right.
You know what I mean? For these moments
to be grown men.
Yeah, groomed, like really the fight that
adults.
You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, Fred Hampton to me, man, when I look back at his age and his impact, it's like, wow, he was a young leader for real, man. So I would say Fred.
All right. So what's the best advice you were ever given?
The best advice I was ever given is always be you. Is always good enough. Like, and I've lived my life on that, man. You know me. Like,
What's my favorite saying, son?
I will go everywhere and be me.
What's my favorite saying?
I won't compromise myself.
Say it. Say it.
You go ahead, man.
Say what my favorite
I'm not
what
saying
my
that.
favorite thing is. What is it?
You say it, bro.
Be unapologetically you all the time.
All the time, man.
Don't suck up for nobody.
And I live on that.
I say that because I used to do it. I used to code switch in a way, not in a good way. I used to code switch in a way so people could accept me for who I was. So I would talk a little more proper. I could speak a little bit more like a Arab type, or I could be in the hood and speak a little bit, a little more slang on it. Eventually, I got to the point where it's just like, nah, I'm just gonna talk who I am. So I definitely like it's in me, unapologetically.
Yeah, that's always been
all
me.
the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always very respectful. I'm always very helpful, but I'm always gonna be me. I'm never gonna not be me for nobody. And if I can't be me, I won't be there.
Unapologetic.
With the boy got a bar, he say the hardest thing to be is something that you're not.
It is.
John
It takes a
crazy.
lot of practice. It takes a lot of lying.
He said that's the hardest thing to be.
Now, when this Love and Basketball 2 comes out, who is playing you?
Who was playing me?
Who can play you?
Denzel.
Crack it up.
No, man. I don't know, man. You know what's crazy? I'm a hell of an actor myself.
Okay.
So I probably could play me the best.
Talk that talk, George.
Yeah, no, seriously, man.
man.
Hey, talk that talk, George.
I was really told by like a world-renowned acting coach that I should pursue acting.
You know how to cry? Can you cry on the spot?
No, but I probably with a little practice, I probably can.
He got
haven't
this
practiced
fascination with crying, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't practiced it, but
I don't cry.
But look,
So
I
want to cry.
I don't want no roles that I gotta cry on the spot though.
Do you cry?
Yes.
bro.
I cry. But I think everybody cry.
I don't.
You don't? You never had a cry? A soul cry?
A soul cry.
He still got some.
Most of my cries are soul cries these days.
No, I'm
he still got some growing up to do.
My thing is,
Man.
I ain't never.
You young though.
I'm 30, and I just tears haven't dropped through my eyes.
He is so
probably like
fascinated
14
with this.
years. I'm fascinated with it because I want to cry.
So when the last time you cried and why?
14.
And why?
When you were 14?
Yeah, I was 14.
Okay.
When your father what?
My father, I was memorizing. I was in Medina, and I couldn't finish this certain part of the Quran. And I don't know what happened. My father was like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "Yo, I be memorizing everything like that, but this certain part of the Quran was just super heavy for me." So I cried in Medina, and I think that was the last time I cried. I was 14.
Oh wow.
So 16 years ago. I did shed a tear. Matter of fact, I did shed a tear. I think I was 21. And I was 21. You're right. So 9 years ago.
A single tear?
It was one tear because my body was like, nigga, why are you crying? Like, why are you crying? I couldn't get the jab at the time. The jab wasn't working for me. I don't know. I was kind of timid.
So wait, was somebody punch you in your face while you was crying, or?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Cool.
I was like,
cool.
I was like, so because I could hear my brother. I could always hear out. I could, but I could hear my brother like, yo, why you keep letting him hit you like that? He kept saying like, what you scared for? Why you keep scared? Punch him in his face. So I want to shed a tear, and I hate the fact that he just it's hard. No, I'm just joking. He ain't heartless. He almost shed a tear at an anniversary though.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I wanted him to just let it go for me. I want to live vicariously through him.
Oh my
to
God.
each his own, but like I mean, it's nothing wrong with crying. I just want to let all the young men out there, or everybody,
Cry,
it's
please.
nothing wrong with crying. But like,
Don't
these
be
days,
emotionally constipated like me.
yeah, these days, like I probably don't cry for typical things like death and stuff like that.
No.
But like, yo, I have a lot of spiritual type of stuff going on where I do, man.
What you mean by spiritual, like crying?
Like soul cries.
You'll never get over. It's like an overwhelming.
Okay,
like,
that happens to me all the time.
No, but it's an actual.
Like I'm talking about, like and sometimes a soul cries like it might pour it down. You're like, what the? And it's like a overwhelming of greatness.
Listen, you got some more stuff to reflect on, bro.
Maybe once I turn 40,
he got some stuff to reflect on, man.
Or continue to ask the Lord to soften your heart and enter your soul.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had told him boxing does not help, right? Because mentally, I have learned how to compartmentalize a lot of things.
But it ain't for everybody. I mean, I think crying is the outer emotion. Is like really like where it comes from, like the inner emotion. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm
pretty sure I cried inside. I cried.
You want how much long? You want to keep talking about crying? I'm just asking you.
Unapologetically.
I'm just asking you. All right, look.
Me. Well, the next thing is, what's the worst job you ever had?
Any job that I had. Like every job that I had was the worst job. I worked for like 3-4 people, different like facilities, like and it was none worse than the other or none better than the other. Working for anybody is a bad job.
Trust me, I understand.
That's it.
My brother.
Yeah.
I understand.
For me.
That's
for me.
Right.
Like it ain't for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, guys. But like for me, every job I ever had was a bad job. If I got to go somewhere, somebody got to tell me what to do and how to do it. I don't want that job. I don't want a job. So I like my job now. Doing what I want to do. You know, I'm not making a whole lot of money, but I'm happier.
But you happy.
I'm having more fun. Content. And one day soon, I'll make it. It's money coming my way.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So, this, like I tell people, man, I live in a cardboard box before I do some of the shit y'all do.
I'm not living in a cardboard box. You got kids?
Yeah, I have 4 kids. I have 3 daughters and a son.
Pull-out game week. Okay.
I'm like 4 for 800. I'm good. Yo, so let's do the math on that.
Listen, I got you.
That percentage is hella good.
That's what's up, man. Listen, man. That's what's up. You got 3. You got 3 girls?
I got 3 daughters.
3 daughters, man. I want 2 more daughters. I got 1 daughter.
Oh yeah.
I want like 2 more daughters.
Oh yeah, that's
sure.
Best. That's a best. That's a blessing.
They the best.
For me to have 3 daughters is a blessing from Allah, man.
You know what? Listen,
I do know, man.
let them get righteous. That's your ticket. That's another ticket into Jannah.
For sure, man.
May Allah bless you, man. May Allah keep them safe.
All right.
Ameen.
Cheesesteak or pizza?
Cheesesteak. Yeah, cheesesteak.
Where you getting it from?
I'm definitely going to D'Alessandro's in Philly. Yeah, I'm definitely going to.
I've never been to D'Alessandro's.
Yeah. I won't tell nobody to go nowhere else but D'Alessandro's first.
Lazzaro's
pretty good. It's just not D'Alessandro's.
I like Lazzaro's. Lazzaro's is fire.
That's because you used to live in South Philly, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but the South Philly cheesesteaks, like they kind of hyped up. Like they do a whole lot of different little stuff and all that. But
they are hyped.
D'Alessandro's, anybody coming to Philly,
go to
D'Alessandro's.
Say less. Now, water ice or Mr. Softies?
Probably water ice, because like around the time when Mr. Softy was popping, we couldn't really afford it. Like every once in a while, we could use, because when they stopped letting us use the food stamps,
right?
It was it for Mr. Softy, and then the prices went up. So I mean, I just always like water ice. It's more like a Philly thing.
I don't like water ice.
Shout
out to Sadiq. But
his is pretty good too, man. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, I will always go and support, but I don't really like water ice like that.
But these days, I try to stay away from that. Like I might have had one or two water ices a summer. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? We gotta be healthy as young men.
Yes, man. Oh no. That's a we gotta be healthy as men. That's another thing. As men.
There you go.
Because young men turn into old men, and I just don't want to be an old, unhealthy man.
Well, we turn into rods. That's really what it is.
You need good habits around that. You know what I mean?
You really do. No, you
sure.
really do.
So, all right. Your favorite Philly slang word?
I'm not gonna be cliche and say bull. I would say my favorite Philly slang word is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got that. That John making gaining. Because everybody kept saying John.
So I have
bull and joint is just like
I have
you mean?
tried my best to never say any slang for the slang word.
Or years old.
Yizzo is my.
Yizzo.
I text Yizzo.
That's his
I
joint.
text that.
That's
joint.
his joint.
I text that.
I
joint.
be trying my best to keep my Baltimore slang.
Cut it out.
It's
man.
hard in Philly though, man.
It
Cut it
is,
out.
'cause
Cut it
I-
out.
What y'all say, Joe? And
Now we be like, yo, yeah.
y'all call everybody yo.
Everything is yo.
Yeah.
Yo be doing this. Yo, yeah. I can't.
He happy. He talking about Baltimore.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Baltimore, you heard me, dummy. Yeah. Philly is in between Southerners and Northerners.
Not even a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It is okay. There's somebody on the side of me, on the left of me, probably giving me the hate eyes, but that's okay.
Hey, listen,
Shout out to sis.
Hey, listen. What's up with these miles you was trying to challenge people to, man?
So I was talking big, heavy stuff, right? And I thought, I was like, nah, he probably just black and he just looked like that, you know, genetically. But then he told me what his miles looking like. And I have no interest, nor will I ever like be wanting to do the miles that he does. Like, what's the point? What are you working out for? Armageddon? What are you looking for?
Well, just this condition my mind, body. Just I want to run a few marathons. I want to get into the marathon thing. I have a great business idea that I want to perfect through marathons. So
well, I'm gonna just run a marathon with you just because.
Yeah, I mean that's
are we
cool.
running a marathon?
But you know what it is?
Why not?
Bro, I don't have a desire to.
I'm always willing to see like
know.
where I could take my mental though. I think that's where I'm at in life right now. Like running is like more of a mental challenge for me. You know what I mean?
Trying to do the ultra?
Yeah. I'm just gonna start with the marathon first. One step at a
I'm
time.
running 5 miles talking about an ultra, man. Cut it out.
But I ran 100 miles a month for 4 months. For 4 months straight before the winter started.
Okay, I do that with camp. That's about it.
No, that joint is impressive, man. Like,
It really is.
I got close. I didn't hit 100, man. But
It's tough.
I was watching,
tough.
man. I was a fan, man. So if people wanna see what you got going on, how can they find out what you have going on?
Born Leader Family is the IG. Born Leader Fam is my Twitter. You can look me up on Facebook, Tasheed Carr. We have some great things coming up for the young kids that we'll be launching within the next month or so. Kind of our whole itinerary for like the summer, spring, and fall going forward. And just reach out to me, man. I'm always active on my Instagram, my Twitter. I'm always
both.
updated. Yep, I'm following you already.
Big fan from the Muslim boxer because I love the energy, man.
I appreciate that, man. Because I would imagine that you probably don't feel like that about most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. So Tasheed Carr, man, here with us, man. Third party podcast. We'll be wrapping up episode.
Yes, sir. Episode 10.
So look. This is our final episode, season 1, man.
Absolutely.
So we ended,
and we ended with a great one.
With a great one, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Great one.
Follow him, Born Leader Family, Tasheed Carr on Instagram. Check him out, man. Third Party Podcast.